Hello and welcome, students, to another episode of History at Home. In today's episode, we will be going over some map mnemonics to help you on your upcoming quiz. So, the topic of this video is map mnemonics. And map mnemonics are something that you're already kind of familiar with in other classes. Mnemonic devices are an item that you're familiar with in other classes. They're kind of memory hacks and tricks that allow you to remember important information by using some type of outside device that makes it more compatible with your memory and mind. So let's take a look and talk a little bit about map mnemonics. So you're probably familiar with other mnemonic devices. Mnemonic devices like please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which you'll use commonly in math class to remember the order of operations, or my very excellent mother just served up nachos. That is another mnemonic device that you may have used in science class to remember the order of the planets in our solar system. So that's kind of the idea that we're applying to our maps. We're trying to come up with these mnemonics that allow us to remember certain locations on our map. So we'll start by going over what the mnemonic is, and then we'll talk about how it works. What you'll need to do on your binder page is fill in this chart as I go through them with you. And then on the back side of your paper is a map. On that map, you'll have to illustrate the mnemonic device to give you a better understanding of how it works. So the first mnemonic device that can help you on your upcoming map quiz is Cameroon Kangaroo. And the way that this works is when you're looking at the continent of Africa, if you look for a country that is shaped like a kangaroo, that kangaroo shaped country will be Cameroon. So, in your mind, if you can remember Cameroon kangaroo, you should be able to correctly identify the country of Cameroon. So, on the back side of your paper, what you're going to need to do is illustrate this. And this is what you're going to do. So, this is a picture, a cartoon picture of a kangaroo. And that's kind of the image that's impressed in my mind when I think about a kangaroo. And it's got some distinctive features. It's got floppy ears, there's a snout, it's got a curly tail towards the back. So, that's the image that I think about. That's my kangaroo. Now, when I'm looking at the continent of Africa, what I need to try to do is find the country that looks like a kangaroo. So, I'm going through northern Africa into sub Saharan Africa. And this country here is the one that jumps out to me. This country to me looks like a kangaroo. And if we go back to the previous slide and think about what it looked like, that's kind of the concrete idea of what a kangaroo looks like. Go back a slide for you. There you go. So when we think about a kangaroo, that's what we're thinking about there. Tall, floppy ears. It's got the snout in the front. It's got the tail in the back. So looking at this country here, again, this is Cameroon. I want you to draw in the actual kangaroo. So we have ears here. We'll give it a eyeball. Here's the snout of the kangaroo. We're going to draw in a pouch for the kangaroo right here. And then down below here, we have a line that you can draw in. So you have 1 foot, 2 feet. And then behind it, you have the tail that's kind of curling out the back. So again, the mnemonic device is kangaroo, Cameroon. Look for the country that most looks like a kangaroo, which we illustrated on our map here, and that will be the country of Cameroon. All right, so keep going on. Let's look at our next mnemonic device. So our next mnemonic device is 7 Somalian seahorses, and this mnemonic will help you identify the country of Somalia. And the way it works is this. The shape of the country of Somalia looks like the number 7, and it also looks like a seahorse. So copy that down on your binder page, and I will show you kind of the image I'm thinking about with a seahorse. So there you go. There's a seahorse. Again, some distinctive features. We have a long snout. We have the curly tail. We got a barrel chest. And we'll go to our map. And looking at the continent of Africa, scanning through northern Africa into sub-Saharan Africa, I'm looking for the country that's shaped like a 7 or shaped like a seahorse, and that would be this country right here. So I think it's pretty clear and obvious. The number 7, so that's your 7 Somalian. And if we draw in an eyeball here for the seahorse, we give it a flipper so it can move into water. Out here would be its curly tail. that is your seahorse. And kind of compare and contrast it to the previous slide. So if I go back one slide, there's your seahorse, and you can see my drawing from the previous slide. So there you go. So that's your seahorse there. So we have either the number 7 or we have our seahorse for Somalia. Your third mnemonic device is going to be probably the one that's going to stick with you most and the one that is probably the most useful one, which is going to be My Buddy Chad. My Buddy Chad. So write that into your notes, My Buddy Chad. And this will help you obviously identify the country of Chad. And if you look at the shape of the country of Chad itself, it looks like a person's face, and that would be my buddy Chad. So going to the backside of your binder page, looking at the continent of Africa, there we go. So we're going to start scanning Northern Africa, start to get towards Sub-Saharan Africa. We're looking for the country that looks like a person. And right here, we found it. This is the country of Chad. And it might be a little bit tough to see. Again, use your imagination. We're going to draw right here. We're going to draw an eye for Chad. You see he has a nose. And we're going to give him a smile because he's a nice guy. He's got his chin hanging out here. And then here is Chad's hair. So that's my buddy Chad. You're looking at his face in profile, so kind of from the side. And again, the way you're using this is just look for the country that looks like a guy's face. That will be the country of Chad. So that's our third mnemonic device. Fourth one is going to be Mali. Mali. So there's not really a mnemonic per se, but when I look at the shape of the country of Mali, it looks like, in my eyes, a male envelope. So if I flip-flop the L and the I in Mali, it would spell male. And when I look at the country, in the shape of the country itself of Mali, to me, it looks like a male envelope. So I'll show you. Here's what I'm looking at. So we have a very straight border here for Mali off on its western coast. And then we kind of have this part up here. It goes diagonal down here, sharing a border with Algeria. And that to me kind of looks like the edge of a male envelope and the beginning of the flap of a male envelope. So on your binder page on the backside, where we're looking is we're looking right over here for Mali, right? That's the country of Mali. And if we focus on those borders, we're going to draw that line here. And then we have the diagonal there. If I was to continue this and kind of draw in the rest of the envelope, you can do this, draw it across like that. And that is clearly now a male envelope. But what we're most concerned with is just that first half, that first part, that straight line here and into this flat part here. But we have the beginning of an envelope, and that's how I locate Mali. When I'm trying to remember where it's at in Northern Africa, I look for that male envelope, which is right here, and I just kind of start drawing it in my mind. Now we're going outside the borders, but there's the male envelope, and within this area here, this is part of Mali, and this is too. But that is our fourth mnemonic device. We look for Mali by looking for the male envelope. Fifth mnemonic device is going to be for a country called Senegal. And I think it works best if you say it like that, Senegal. When we look for the country of Senegal, what we're going to also look for is the animal that makes that hissing noise, that sound. We're looking for a snake. So we're going to look for a snake to find the country of Senegal. And how this works is in the country of Senegal, Senegal will share a border and it almost fully envelops another country called Gambia. And Gambia is shaped like a snake. So in order to find Senegal, I look at my map and try to find the country with a snake inside of it. And that would be the country of Senegal. So again, we'll kind of scan our maps, looking Northern Africa, coming down into Sub-Saharan Africa, and right here is the country of Senegal. So what I'm looking for is this shape here. This is a country called Gambia. It looks like a snake that's starting to slither its way into Senegal. And that's how I can identify the country here as Senegal. So when you're looking for Senegal, just look for this Gambia, or this snake-shaped country called Gambia, and that will be the snake inside of Senegal. All right, your final mnemonic device is going to be an acronym, and the acronym is SSLL. And it will help you in your notes if you color code it SSLL. And this acronym, if you write it in the right location of the Atlantic Ocean, will help you identify the countries of Senegal, which we just learned in the previous mnemonic, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. So this will be the final one. I'll illustrate it for you. Back to the African continent. What you should do is write in the acronym, right around here, S, S, L, and then the last country would be L. And if you do it kind of in this area, out in the Atlantic Ocean, off of Africa's west coast, and move directly to your right from each letter, that will help you identify Senegal. These two are for Sierra Leone. We'll go right across to Sierra Leone. And the final country on your map is Liberia, which is right here. So this only really works if you put the acronym in the right location, SSLL. It is beneficial as well to color code it. Directly across from your first S should be Senegal, remember the snake. Below that, to the south, will be Sierra Leone, right here. And finally, Liberia will be out here in the western coast of Africa. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.